I learned the other day something you all probably already know, which is that there's ocean captains and river captains. I didn't know that. And what's interesting about that is we were coming in today and there was fog over the river. And I thought, man, how hard would it be for an ocean captain to navigate this thing, right? You have special people to help you navigate different situations because they have more context, more information, right? Kind of like marketing agencies. Okay, anyway. All right, so it looks like we're going. Okay, let's get started. So this presentation takes about an hour. When we're done, we'll have time for Q&A. Make sure you write down your questions as we go, okay? That way you don't forget them, and when we're at the end, you can ask them. Cool. So, introduce myself. My name is Josh Carter. I own marketing agency Carter Venture Solutions. Yeah, here we go. So first question you might have is, are you qualified to give advice? So this is a little bit about me. I've marketed for over 200 local companies throughout Cowlitz and Wahkiakum and Lewis and all of those local counties. I have 17 years of sales experience. I'm the founder of 2 digital marketing agencies. I've successfully exited one, and I now own this one. I've been a copywriter for 7 years and been producing spots for 7 years. I have a decade-old obsession with data marketing, and I've written and ran over 1,000 campaigns, okay? So that's all I'm going to say about myself. I just want to give you a little context so you know that I'm not just making it up, okay? All right. That's what was supposed to happen, but here we go. All right, so there is one kind of core quote. This is my quotable for the day. And it's what separates good marketing from great marketing is ultimately how you take data-driven risks and how well you understand what motivates people, okay? So if I ever get rich and famous, you'll remember when I said that to you in person, okay? Cool. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the basics, what you can do for cheap, because it's not all about spending money. Traditional media, we're going to talk a bit about that. A lot of that 7 years of copywriting experience is in traditional media, so we'll talk about it. And definitions. Before I go on a big rant about digital marketing, I'm going to give you some definitions so you know what the heck I'm talking about, okay? Then when we talk about digital products, I'm going to tell you what is hyper-targeting. What are the products and how do they work? And I want you to see a sales funnel, and I also want to talk to you about the formula of marketing. So this is an hour presentation, and I'm going to pack so much information into it, you're going to be like trying to remember it all. When this is all done, I'll have a QR code for you to scan and download the presentation so you can look at it again at home. Everybody good with that? Yep. Cool. So these are the 4 pillars of cheap, okay? So the first thing is daily social posting. I post every single day on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, especially if you're business to business, Facebook, and Instagram. I think I said them all. And YouTube. There you go. So there's actually programs out there where you can post one piece of content. So if I post a piece of content into LinkedIn, it automatically takes that piece of content, that video that I made, and it copies it to from TikTok to LinkedIn and to YouTube. So I just post one time, it posts to 2 other platforms, right? You post to Facebook, it automatically posts to Instagram. This is a free marketing pipeline that if you're not using, you're just missing an opportunity, okay? Next thing is attend networking events. Congratulations, you're already doing that. But if you're a member of a chamber and they have an after hours or you see these little networking events popping up, you never know when your next big business partner, your next big customer is going to be at one of those events, right? Now you could go, it could be a room full of duds, right? But the gamble is that it could also be your next big thing. So attend the networking events as if they're all going to be top tier winners, okay? And in my experience, if you go in with that attitude, they're winners more often anyway. Okay, here's another tip for you. This is not free, but it's cheap. Collecting emails. If you're running any kind of business where you're doing consumer-based, your primary customer is a consumer rather than a business, right? You should be collecting emails. Now, the rule with collecting emails is we don't collect emails and provide no value to the customer. That's not nice. It's also not scalable. You can get away with it, but it's not going to work out in the long term, okay? So what you do is when you're collecting emails, you provide value to the customer in exchange for their email. Case in point, anybody in here have a Safeway card? Yeah, they have your email because they provide you rewards. You go to Target, you get the Target Red card, save 5%, right? That's value. Okay. And then once you have that database of emails, you have a really great list of people that have already engaged with you that you can talk to again. Hey, person that's already bought my thing at the farm or at, like Skamakaway Resort, right? Like, you've already been here. Here's something else that we have going on. Best customer to get is the one you already have. Okay? It's a very old phrase that I heard someone say a long time ago. Last thing is reviews. Flood the internet with how awesome your business is. All the awesome on all the platforms. Reviews. Those are free. And when people write a review about you, they're more likely to visit you again. Just them saying something nice about you cements that in their mind. All right, so now we're talking about traditional media. Everybody's familiar with the big pillars of traditional media. We got television, radio, magazines, newspaper, and billboards, okay? I am a digital marketer, but I'm not going to tell you that these don't work because that's not true. They do work. Each one of these tactics work in their own way. Here's the caveat. These tactics rely heavily on you knowing the best practices of them. That's the only way you can optimize a radio campaign is if you know what the best practice of radio is, okay? There's no data for you to optimize to. You're reliant on best practices, okay? That's all you have. And therefore, you're also reliant typically on these mediums on a salesperson because they're usually not self-serve. So you're also relying on that salesperson to have best practice knowledge that you can leverage for your business. So I'm only saying that because I love salespeople. Salespeople are great. But you got to know if you have a good one or not. That's part of the formula on whether or not you're going to have success. Everybody good with that? Okay, cool. So these are some of the quick pros and cons of traditional media, okay? Traditional media can be very engaging, very creative. Nothing better than a funny radio spot, a good jingle. Your security is our business. Y'all know Keys Plus Locksmiths, right? That slaps. That's a great jingle. We love that. That's engaging and creative, something you can do on radio. You can get it in my head without hardly trying. Frequency and repetition, you can buy a lot of spots in traditional media, right? And then audience connection. There's nothing better. Anybody here ever listen to KLOG, Kirk Rowland in the morning reading the news? Kirk Rowland's been on the air for 40 years. Let me tell you something. You're selling direct-to-consumer products and Kirk Rowland does a live read for you, nothing better. That's money in the bank. Here's the downside. Traditional media was written to a distracted audience. Billboards, people are driving, right? Television, people are typically timing out the spots because the breaks are really long. And so distracted audience, you just have to write your copy for that. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that you have to write your copy knowing that your audience is going to be distracted. And then finally, and then limited targeting. You can, if you're buying, anybody in here ever bought radio spots? Ever? Nobody? Oh, wow. Okay, so if you're buying radio spots, you might advertise in the morning show because you're advertising to professionals, right? But what you can't do is say, I want to advertise to 25-year-old females that live in Longview and have been to the Rat Tap on Broadway within the last week. Can't do that. So the targeting is a little limited. And then finally, poor ROAS tracking. That's the first jargon term I've thrown out at you. Return on ad spend. Everybody, what's ROAS? Return on ad spend. Right, good job. So it's hard to tell. My least favorite question when I worked in traditional media was, well, I got really busy, but how do I know it was that? How do I know it was radio, right? Crap. There's ways to know, but not really. So that was the answer. And it sucks. It's just the reality of it. Okay, so we're jumping into digital now. Have you guys ever seen a funnel before? Okay. So when we as marketers are talking to small businesses, they want us to make recommendations on what they need. Is anyone in here made of money? Okay, darn. Well, for those of you that aren't made of money, which is literally all of us, most of us cannot afford to do all of the tactics at once, okay? So what we have to do as marketers is pick a tactic on each level of the funnel so that when the money goes in the top, if you're standing at the bottom of the funnel trying to catch it, that money isn't going out the sides. So we want to pad your funnel on different levels of engagement so that the money is coming to where it belongs, which is in your pocket, right? So you guys remember watching Plinko on TV a long time ago? Here we go, and they drop in it, and everybody would cheer. Imagine if you had Plinko, but you had 5 people rigging the game. So every time it's not on path to hit 10,000, they reach over and they move it back into the middle. That's what using a funnel approach does, okay? Trying to get it to land in that slot. Okay, next thing is the formula of marketing, okay? This is the Josh Carter opinion. This is what I believe are the things that you need to weigh when you're considering whether or not you did good job with your ad campaign, okay? So, was I consistent? So you ran a bunch of radio spots. Did it work? Did it not? Was I consistent with it? Yes or no? Be honest with yourself. If you weren't, take that into account. Was my creative good or was it crap? Okay? You can have the best consistency, the best reach, the best targeting, the best whatever, and if your message sucks, then it sucks. Garbage in, garbage out, right? For all my tech people. We have all heard that term. Is your targeting good? If you're advertising in the morning show, but you're trying to sell products targeted at teenagers, hello, that's not going to work, right? And we know that. So is the reach of the medium you chose good? And then finally, can you attribute success to your campaign, yes or no? Okay? Don't discount a campaign's effectiveness based on just one of these or two of these. You need to look at the thing as a whole. Because then you can tweak what you did. So if you did all this and it didn't work, then you need to go, okay, which one of these did I miss on? Because if you have all 5, it works every time. It just does. All right, so this is my last slide of lists before we take a little brain break. I've already given you so much to chew on. We're going to start talking about more digital products right now. That's what it's called, creative marketing in a digital world. You need to understand how they work. This list is a baby list of all of the ways that we can target consumers with all the products I'm about to tell you about, okay? So I want you to take this list and imagine that it's the size of this wall and it's written in 12-point font. That's how much data we actually have. In fact, the data that when we use data in marketing, it's called using the fire hose. Literally, that's what they call it. So you can't read that, but what it says is website behavior, engagement, purchase history, interest, demographics. Also offline data. Does this person own property? That's in there. There are 400 plus data points per user per day. Okay? So when we're talking about trying to figure out what people are interested in, has anyone in here ever felt like their phone is listening to them? That's what we do. Because what's actually happening is we have an algorithm, or the internet has an algorithm, that has been analyzing 400 data points per user per day for the past 20 years. If I studied any of your phones for like 5 minutes, I'd know a ton of stuff about you, right? So take that, quantify it over the 3.5 billion people that are using the internet, quantify it over 20 years, and then you'll understand why it feels like your phone is listening to you. How did it know I'm going to go on a cruise to Maui? Because you came to the same conclusion the way the algorithm expected you to. That's why. Okay. All right, brain break time. This is a video about puppies. So everybody take a deep breath. Okay, here we go. All right, so on the count of 3, I want everyone to go, aw, how cute. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Aw, how cute. Good job. You guys are doing great. All right. So there's your little brain break. Everybody good? Take a deep breath. Let's keep moving. All right, here we go. Turn over the page that looks like this. Now, you don't need to memorize it, so don't try. This is a piece of reference information, okay? So what you're going to do is when I say crazy like conversion, you're going to be like, what the heck is a conversion? You're going to pull that paper out and you're going to go, oh yeah, a conversion is when a customer takes a desired action, okay? When I say click-through rate, you're going to go, oh yeah, that's the percentage of people who click on an ad after seeing it. Okay, cool. That's what it's for. It's reference text, so we're on the same page. If I say a term at any point that you don't know or is not on the list and you just go like this, Josh, what the heck are you talking about? Okay? Cool. So, first product, here we are. Search engine marketing. Everybody here has used Google, I guarantee it, okay? On Google, there is those things that say sponsored, right? You can fight your way to the top. You can buy your way to the top, okay? The benefits of using this tactic are as follows. What we do as marketers, and what you can do on your own even, this is a self-serve product you can do. By the way, everybody write this down. If you're working with an agency to do Google ads and they're charging you more than 30% management fee, you're getting ripped off. I've seen 40, 50, 60, 70% management fees out here, okay? So that's how you price that, 30%, okay? So if you give them $100, they should only be keeping 30 and the rest should be going to your ad spend. And because consumers don't know, this is one of those kind of predatory opportunities, right? Now you know, nobody's going to fall for that. So Google Ads, what we do is we look at a volume of search terms. Skamakaway Resort, for example, okay? So we're going to look at people that are looking to travel to the area. We're going to look at a volume of search terms that are on the internet already, and we are going to determine which of these do we want to fight it out on. Right? Which one do we want to do a bloody battle on, okay? Maybe we want to do vacation spots in Skamakaway. Maybe we want to do hotels, maybe, right? That volume of existing search terms is how we determine that. Now, here's the beauty of it. Once you start buying those search terms, you're going to start ranking higher and oftentimes ranking first, okay? So inside of these search terms, once you've run a few months of your campaign, here's the beauty of it. We can further optimize those search terms because maybe we did resorts in Skamakaway and it got 100,000 impressions or whatever, more likely probably 5,000 impressions, right, in our area. But we got 0 clicks and we got 0 phone calls. Loser, throw it out, move on. What we want to do is keep shuffling our deck until we have an A team, right? That's what we do. So continuing to optimize in a data-driven way is how you go from my advertising doesn't really work to I advertise like Verizon, right? Questions about Google Ads? No, great. All right, so if Google Ads are the bloody battle to fight your way to the top because you're buying your way up, SEO is you earning your way to the top, okay? Think of SEO like you're telling the search engines who you are. You have a big name tag on, okay? And your name tag says, I'm Josh, I'm a marketer, okay? So I did an SEO report the other day for one of my clients. He's a new client, old friend but new client. He owns a moving company. His name is Peter, great guy. So I did an SEO report on his business, and then I called him up and I said, Peter, let me guess, you do a lot of piano moving. And he was like, yeah, which is weird because I don't buy that in my Google ads, so I don't know why. Because it's your #1 seed keyword on your website. So if I search your website, your name tag says, I'm Peter and I'm a piano mover. Also, we move you out of town. Also, we do all this other stuff, right? But your #1 is that you're a piano guy. So that's why you move so many pianos. Do you want to keep doing that work? Yeah, pianos pay great. Okay, then keep it, right? Do you want it to be your #1 keyword if that's not your biggest money maker or your highest net profit item? No, right? We can fix that. So SEO and SEM, you can't do it for a month. It takes about 6 months minimum for those campaigns to be optimized enough to where you have an A team, okay? Just straight up, that's what they are. Anyone that's selling you a month, 2 months, 3 months is taking your money. It's a 6-month thing. It is. When people call our agency and say, we want to buy a month, the answer is no. Because I don't want to take their money and see them say SEM didn't work or SEO didn't work. Because it does, if you do it right. Okay. Everybody good with SEO? This is a big term we hear a lot. Do we have any questions on SEO? Great. This means I'm just explaining it perfectly. Just kidding. All right. Local SEO. So this is also called directory management. Directory management is, there are a bunch of directories on the internet other than Google that catalog your business information. The name of the game with all of these, search engine and SEO and all that, is to make them congruent. That's our goal. We want all of it to look about the same. So if you're not listed the same way on all 40 platforms, then you're going to rank lower on Google, which is the one that everybody loves, right? So what we can do is, one of the products that you can do inside of digital marketing is essentially do directory management. So we go through all of those and we fix them, and we make sure that if it says, like this place is called the Rat Tap, right? So this is called Rat Tap one place, maybe it's called Rat Tap on Broadway another place, right? Maybe the phone number is listed with 360 and without 360. We're fixing all of those incongruities so that when it's all said and done, it looks good, okay? It's gonna help you rank higher. Once you've done all that and we have all your things fixed and we say, here you go, congratulations, Paul, it's all in one place. Then you need a place to manage all of those things. So that product is called Reputation Management. This is a tool that takes all of your listings across the internet, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Snapchat, Waze, Uber, Apple Maps, Facebook, Google, and centralizes them to one dashboard. So that when you get a review on literally any of them, you're ready to engage with it, because you should always reply to all of your reviews if you can, okay? Did I lose anybody yet? Is anybody feeling like, oh my God, what is this guy talking about? Everybody cool? Okay. All right, this is where it gets really fun. Geofencing. So, right now all of you sell horse saddles, okay? That's what you guys are in the business of right now for the next minute. How do we find your target horse saddle audience? Well, we can post flyers at the local feed store, right? We can go to the 4-H club and do all that stuff. Or we can, and we could also draw a geofence around all of the rodeos that happen in Washington. Now, a geofence is something that we do inside of our technology. It's not like we don't literally go out and put a fence up, right? But a geofence allows us to target users inside of that location. We can target them for just an event that they may have attended. So we just want to do the Cowlitz County Fairgrounds on July 26th during the rodeo. That's all we want. So that audience now exists in a bucket that we can advertise to, okay? You can do that with literally any event, and usually we can do event lookup up to 6 months after the event is done, right? So if you're targeting a niche audience, for example, the cat show is just in Longview. I have a client that owns a chain of pet stores. That's money. Right there, that's money. Let's retarget the cat people and then just deliver ad creatives to them about cat products and have a special landing page on our website that says, we're the Cat Products Authority, baby, and that's it, right? We're landing here. It's all about what you're interested in. And when you land on the Cat Products Authority page, which also sells all this other products, but it looks like they're focused at you, you're much more likely to buy from them because you go, well, yeah, but this is what they specialize in, right? We've all said that. Okay. So here's, all of these products come with a fun little piece of data. They all get their own little piece. It's like any of your kids play Pokemon, know about Pokemon? Each little Pokemon has its own little, so this particular Pokemon comes with a fun little feature, which is a geo conversion report. Whoa. Conversion is what? When a customer takes a conversion, right? A conversion is cha-ching, okay? A geo conversion means this. I have a tap house in Longview that I advertise for, right? We advertise their tap list and all that stuff and have a landing page related to that. When someone has been delivered a digital ad and then they physically step foot into the business, I can tell that they went there. You trigger my conversion fence when you get there, and then at the end of the month, I can go and talk to Kelly and say, hey, look, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people came to your location after being delivered a digital ad. One of the big questions I get when people start thinking about that is, well, what about the people that were going to come here already? Are you counting them too? No, because the algorithm automatically, we have two types of converters in your campaign. We have natural converters, which we're going to go there anyway, and we know that because they've been there within 30 days. And then we have new campaign converters, right? We have the newbies that have not been there within 30 days, but they did after receiving an ad. How cool is that, right? So when people are posting flyers and putting yard signs across town because they think that's the best way to advertise, they're spending $400 or $500 to reach 1,000 people. That doesn't make any sense, because here the cost per 1,000 is $10. So you can buy 40,000 impressions for like $400. And that's an industry standard pricing. That's not me selling you right now. That's me telling you in our industry, that's what it costs, okay? So, anybody in here ever done direct mail, realtors? I see you. Direct mail's dope. I've done direct mail. I used to sell Medicare, and one of the only ways we could reach out to seniors was through direct mail, right? So with direct mail, I would send out 1,000 pieces for about $400. About what you're still paying? A little less? Way more. Sweet Lord. Okay. Because that was expensive to me. Because I get about a 3% return. I get about 30 mailers back. And then out of those 30 mailers, I'm going to convert 3 or 4 customers. And that method for me was ROAS positive. It was. I was making money. That's great. But there's no data to go with it. And I was getting a 3% return. And I was spending $400 for 1,000 impressions. What's an impression? Right. So this product is like digital direct mail, okay? So digital direct mail, think of it as we're going to layer all of those audience identifiers I talked about before, and then we're going to deliver ads to them. Now, we're not just delivering to one, like your cell phone. It cross-device matches across all of the devices. So for those of you that live with someone that has a different user profile, let me say it a different way. For those of you that are married to someone of the opposite sex, right? I don't get razor ads, right? I don't get female product ads, because even though I'm on the same Wi-Fi in the same household with a female, that doesn't transfer over because I am very clearly a different user. So it cross-device matches me as a person. So the only time we're gonna get mixed together is when we're sharing devices. Okay, cool. Questions about addressable geofencing before I move on? I just don't want to keep going if somebody's stuck. Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Right here at the top it says addressable geofencing digitally targets specific households by serving display or video ads. That's where we're headed next. So these are all methods of targeting where we're using location married in with our behaviors. Once we've found the audiences, then we figure out which creatives we're going to deliver them. Okay? So one of the creatives we can deliver are static guaranteed display ads. These again are fairly cheap. But the cool thing about static, the reason they're called static, is because here's an example, Smile Direct Club right here. That's exactly what it's going to look like 100% of the time that it gets delivered. That ad never changes in appearance, never changes in headline, never changes in color. So for my clients that are really married to a brand guideline, so for Verizon, for example, Verizon's little red check mark has a specific hex color of red, specific number you have to use for it to be compliant, right? Realty people, you have a specific tagline that has to be run, right? That's how you can do it, is with static. So then that's what they're seeing. They're seeing these banner ads everywhere they go. They're seeing them on their apps. They're seeing them here. They're seeing them on the websites. This is not limited to one website. It's all the websites, wherever your users are going, except for the naughty ones. We don't deliver there. So if you want to deliver things about your naughty store to naughty people, we have a special product for that. It's called an alt network. But we don't do that here. So if you're running a nice, respectable family business, you don't have to worry about your thing being a pre-roll ad on something gross. Okay, cool. So now we're talking about responsive guaranteed display. Okay, RGD, as we call it, is the same thing. But instead of just a static design, I input multiple photos, multiple headlines, multiple taglines, multiple calls to action. And then my machine learning algorithm automatically whittles down the winners, and it throws the losers where they belong, okay? And then when you're all done, again, you're back with an A team. These are so good, I guarantee a click-through rate. What's a click-through rate? So we deliver impressions and clicks. It's that percentage, right, between impression and clicks. So it's so good. The average click-through rate in the display world is 0.03, okay? And I've seen it all the way up to 0.08, depending on where you're getting that report from. But regardless of, whoops, there we go. Regardless of which number you're going on, we guarantee a 0.6. How many marketing people have ever given you a guarantee about anything? Almost never. So it's so good, I've never not hit 0.6. Like, it's like when I first did that, I was worried, like, well, what if it doesn't? How do I get it up? And it's never even been an issue. So usually we're getting 1 point something on our campaign, so it's whatever. All right, so those are your display creatives. Now we're talking about local video. Local video is where you deliver, okay? It's also what you deliver. So we're gonna film a local video for you and help you with that, or you're gonna pay a production team to do it, or you're gonna do it yourself, and that's super. Local video is when you go to a website and that video you're advertising on belongs to the website. That's why it's called local. It's local to the website. For example, weather.com, you wanna watch that latest tornado that did whatever and wherever, you wanna watch the latest hurricane thing, that, when you click play, that pre-roll video that happens, it's a local video, okay? Because that video is not on, it's not on Facebook, it's not whatever. So that's why it's called that. Video ads, whether you're talking about traditional television or you're talking about this kind of video advertising, is 2.6 times more likely to convert a customer. Is it more expensive? Yep. Well, it's also more likely to convert a customer. So this is more math you have to do. So there's another video product. Once we have your video ad creative made, or you've done that, and more people are cutting the cord. They're getting away from traditional cable because Comcast can't do what? Did target people as traditional media. Can't do it. If you say, I want to target ladies because I own a ladies clothing store, right? Then they're going to show your ads in programs that are likely to generate a female audience, and that's about as good as it gets. We'll play your ads during Will and Grace, don't worry. Anybody watch Will and Grace back in the day, right? So that's the best they can do. With connected TV, or we also call it OTT, over the top TV, we call it that because it comes through the Wi-Fi over the top. I know that's stupid, I didn't come up with it, I'm sorry. But that's what it means. These are some of the apps that you can deliver on. Case in point, the other day, I really wanted to watch Rocky with my 10-year-old son, so I typed in on my Roku TV, Rocky, and it said $3.99 on Amazon Prime or free with ads on Sling, and I was like, sweet, guess who just saved $4? Bam, right? And because the ad sets are so short, data and research is showing that people stay for those ads. Because traditional media ads on radio, you're talking 6-minute commercial breaks. Same thing with television. It's gotten so oversaturated. Those mediums have really long commercial breaks, and that's not something that OTT does that's not something they do. Not to say they won't ever do it. That's not what they're doing right now. Notice in the corner, it says, these following are not a part of OTT CTV. Netflix, Prime, YouTube, TV, HBO Max, and Hulu. Those platforms we have to go directly to. That's a different product, okay? For those people that say, well, nobody watches these, back in the day, television claimed that all these people were watching their programs, and there was no way for us to prove that. There's no more BS in this industry. We can tell for certain that people are watching these. It's not even a negotiable conversation. We know 100% people are watching Tubi. We know 100% people are watching things on Roku TV, right? And what's cool is we can pull that data and pretty much tell you like exactly what your audience is. Okay. When you mix them together, local video and OTT, it's called blended OTT. That's what that product is. So here's a fun little thing that this Pokemon has, okay? This Pokemon comes with a video completion rate. Guess what? VCRs are not dead. It just means video completion rate now. It's not the thing you put in anymore, okay? You don't have to rewind these. With video completion rates, I can tell what the percentage of people that watched your video to the end was. If you're getting 85 or higher, then we know we have a winning video creative. And if you're getting 85 or you're getting 84 or lower, it's a loser and it needs to go and we need to produce something different. Because inside of our matrix of how do you make advertising work, creative is one of the 5 pillars, isn't it? So that's how we do that, is we look at the VCRs and we can tell, did it work, okay? And then also, in addition to VCR, did people click on it? Did people go to your website? Whether or not they actually click on their TV for some reason and go to an ad, which literally no one would ever do, if you delivered them an ad and they're in your target pipeline, they don't even have to click on it. They go to your website later after being delivered an ad, I still know it's them. It's still that user, and it still counts, right? We're keeping score. Let me see if... Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so we got one more, and then we got another dog video. Okay, cool. So, email advertising. Earlier, I talked about how you can do email, you can retarget your customers with your own email list, right? That's great. It's killer. Love that. Okay, so what about when you don't have your own email list? Or what about when you've exhausted that list? Or what about when you're trying not to just reach people you already have, but you want new customers? How do you do that? Use the email advertising system, okay? Okay, so basically what we can do with this product, rather than using your existing list, is we can curate a list for you. That's the basis of it. Just really quick, that's how it works. I just sent out a 40,000 person email campaign a couple weeks ago. Okay, I'm targeting new businesses and business owners and business managers, right? So inside of my email campaign, I have headline, picture, call to action, like a button. Headline, picture, button. Headline, picture, button. When I'm all done, I can tell what percentage clicked on what buttons. We got 226 clicks, 40% of them click this button, 10% of them click this one. So then that headline's a winner, kill the losers, and put more in until we get that A-team again. That's what it's all about, optimization. This is an ad we made for the Petworks, and it has a really great like poem thing behind it. All right, here we go. Down and dirty, dogs descend to the Petworks where troubles end. Dancing with delight, they wag and prance, break out the doggy self-serve dance. Drenched in water, dirt dissolving away, delicate strokes making first sway. Diligently scrubbing, suds swirling like a dream. Dirty dogs rejuvenated, their radiance gleams. Drying off with towels that twirl, dazzling dogs transformed like a pearl. The Petworks dog self-serve wash, dedicated to making pups feel posh. There you go, that's the ad. Thank you. I promise the voiceover on there is much better, but there you go. Fun little, so that dog, by the way, her name is Yama, and that's LaDonna's dog. As you saw, she's our model in the video. Fun story about Yama is 2 days ago, one of the kids went down to take Yama out, and then we heard him yell up, "Yama's off the chain!" And what had happened was, Yama thinks she's a Maltese because her brother's a Maltese, so she thinks she's this big, and really she's this big. And so she ran full speed at the end of the chain and snapped it in half, and then went galloping down the road like a silly dog, not even realizing she would be in trouble for that. So that was a fun little adventure. We caught her and everything's fine, but yeah. Okay. Next is precision audio. This is advertising on streaming networks. The big one on the list, of course, is iHeart and TuneIn. So you guys have an Amazon Alexa? Anybody have one of those? So you go, Alexa, turn on blues radio or whatever. That's what I listen to. And then it comes up and it's like, tune in, and then it plays a pre-roll ad. That could be you. It's simple. Everybody knows what streaming audio is. There you go. All right, next. Facebook, Instagram. So as a social, there are 2 ways to hit this tactic. You have your paid ads, which if you're scrolling through Facebook, every 4th ad is a paid ad. Okay, every 4th post is a paid ad on Facebook. So you can, again, fight it out in the paid ads, and that's fine, and that's valid, and we love that. That's good. It's a good platform. It works. Facebook's ad targeting, so if this entire wall was things written in 12-point font, that's our targeting, 400 data points. Facebook's advertising targeting would be like the size of that little white light. It's like a little baby. So I use Facebook the least. Because when I can target on 400 data points, why the heck do I want to target like that? Well, the answer is because 63% of online users have a Facebook account. That's the answer, right? At least in America. So it's valid. We love it. It works. It's good. We can use tactics on these and all that. But there's also social posting. So if one of them is fighting it out on ads, one of them's buying it, one of them is earning it. Okay? Social posting is where you're fighting it out in between those, every fourth guy, you're fighting it out in between those. Okay? These are non-sponsored, organic content that is hitting Facebook without any paid promotion behind it. This is what you should be doing every single day because it's free. Every single day I post 1 or 2 pieces of content, and you should be too. Now the content that you're posting should not be, look at me, come by here, look at me, come by here, look at me, come by here. No, no, no. Instead, it should be value content to the user. So if you're lucky enough to be in an industry where you do some kind of creation, like farming or embroidery, for example, right? That content should be the hows of how you do what you do. If you're a plumber, you should have the camera on a tripod under the sink showing off exactly how plumbing works and why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? Everybody good with that? Cool. Let me try it that way. Okay. I think I have 2 more slides on products. So all of these pieces of data, we can get a pretty accurate picture of who the person is, right? If you're in an industry where you use a lot of information when a customer buys from you, realtors, car salesmen, right? And you're not in a high turnover retail situation, then like a restaurant or something, then you should be using this product after your digital ads. Okay? This is called DNA. So this is our best guess at who the person was. So we'll provide a matchback report to you based on the targeting we did. That's pretty cool, right? So political candidates love this. I mean, all kinds of people, you can really benefit from this product. So this is not an exact science, but it's pretty darn close. Okay. So when you've sold a bunch of houses and you want to know which one came from your ads, we can tell you. Now, all of these things you can't just start doing tomorrow without any preparation. Because there are certain things that need to happen and need to exist inside of your company. You need to have developed it to a point where this is possible, okay? So one of the things you gotta have is a good website. If you don't have it, you're already playing a losing game. Your website is no longer an accessory that you just have over here. Your website is now a hyper-leverageable data collection platform, a hyper-leverageable e-commerce platform, and it's an opportunity on wheels, and it costs like next to nothing. Compared to what you could be spending your money on, it's not that expensive, okay? So website development, what's important is that when you're all done, your website has good what? What's the term we learned earlier? 3 letters. Right. So when you're developing that website, if you're going to do it yourself, most websites in the back end have a tool, a wizard, you can go next, finish on, and you'll get a pretty good SEO score by yourself. Pretty good meaning C-, C+, maybe even a B- if you're really good at it, okay? Okay, next. I wanted to show off some pictures of my friends and some ribbon cuttings. Also, because they're literally good for nothing else, I won a bunch of awards last year, and I thought I'd put them on there, so that there they are. So tons of ribbon cuttings. Fun story for the chamber people. Years ago, 2 or 3, 4 employees ago, right? I was collaborating with the Wakaikam Chamber talking about business after hours, and I was coaching that executive at that time on how to do an after hours, how the structure works, and how much it costs. And so I've been really happy to see that that's something that they've just taken and run with and made it far better than, someone can I was the idea fairy, and then they made all the work happen. So that was really cool. Okay, so I gave you a bunch of paper, okay, right, when you came in. For those of you that pre-registered, you'll have it already. For those of you that just showed up, did you get her one yet? So it'll be in your email. Cool. So this, what I sent you, is an SEO report, okay? An SEO report is essentially things that your business website is missing that could be improved. And if you don't know how to do it or what they are, there's a definition right next to them. So that's just free value that you get to keep, okay? You can turn that into the person that does your website right now and say, hey, this guy at a presentation said that these things need to be improved. And there you go. This is free value for you. It also gives you an idea of some of the opportunities that you could do to improve. You also have there a directory listing report. So we went ahead and Googled each of you and put you into our Power Listings tool, and we output how congruent all of your listings are. Some of you don't even exist, which is a choice, but the thing about it is if your goal is to get more and more and more and more traffic, and your goal is to make your brand scalable, it's just something that's going to have to be addressed eventually, right? You're driving down the road without a windshield, okay? You can, but it's not the best way to do it, okay? So we can help with that. That's a thing that we can answer questions on here in a second. All right, get out your phones. Here is the coveted QR code. It's going to ask you for a password. The password is my last name, Carter. Feel free to come up if you can't get it super far away. That is a copy of the presentation. And yeah. Before I lose all of your attention, before we go to Q&A, a couple other things you can do to help us, because I did do this entire seminar for free. The chamber is keeping all of your entry fees, which is great, because that's what I wanted for them. What you can do to help me out is go Carter Venture Solutions on Google and leave a quick review. Say, Josh was the worst presenter I've ever seen, or Josh was the greatest presenter, whatever you want to say. Okay, hopefully it's the latter. But you can do that, and then on your way out, if you stop and see one of our producers, either LaDonna or Weston, they can grab a quick clip from you that says, yeah, Josh's seminar was whatever, or whatever. And then that will help us advertise, because the goal is to get as many people educated about what we do as possible so that businesses aren't wasting money. All right, that's it. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. And now it's time for answer questions. So, yeah. Am I going to retarget this audience? No, probably not. Typically, I retarget events that have a little higher attendance, right? But I certainly could. I certainly could.
So you're from Kansas, and now you're in Longview?
Indeed.
What brought you to Longview?
A friend of mine was buying the Jimmy John's on Washington Way in Longview, so I ran out to run that for him. And then like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months later, I was like, bro, are you coming? And he's like, oh yeah, no. Okay, cool. So I just started doing my own thing, whatever. It's fine, But yeah, that's how I got out here. Thanks to Great Sandwich Company. Funny enough, 8 years later, they did buy the store. After they bought 7 of them up in Olympia, the partnership of, my two-friend partnership, Ryan and Adam, did buy the store here. So it was too little too late by then, right? I was already fully entrenched in my passion of marketing, but cool. So yeah, that's how I got here. You know what? I started in insurance marketing, and I just got a lot of great mentors, and eventually you know enough about how a product helps people, and it's just like, now I can't stop. I have literally run campaigns where clients have called me in tears and gone, I made more money than I ever thought I could, and now we have to do this thing. One of my pet stores that I was working with had a 6-figure increase over their projection in their first year, and that's in one store that we're advertising for. It's not even all 4 of them. So the beauty of it is, when you're taking money from multiple sources like that, it's so easy once you get the right formula to hit a home run. That's how I got into marketing. That's how I got addicted to it. I tried it with insurance and then I couldn't quit, right? just like every other addiction. So that's, and then once I found, I was in traditional media for a while, and then once I found digital marketing, I started my first digital marketing company in 2020 during the pandemic, when all the digital marketing companies were closing, I was opening a new one, which is stupid. But I did that, and then we instantly took on Cowlitz County Tourism. We instantly took on, the workforce development for Southwest Washington, right? Like, we took on these big accounts, and so it gave me a great monetary position to understand the products from. So I did a little bit of T&E, a little bit of trial and error with their budgets, and then you figure it out, and then you can apply that to small business. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I mean, it's the best time to buy it when everyone's selling.
Absolutely.
If everyone's closed, you might as well jump in. You need.
Yeah, and what's crazy about digital marketing is there's a lot of people getting into the industry right now because it's their traditional media companies are realizing that the pooch is screwed, so to speak. So they're really jumping into data-driven stuff, but they're jumping into it as a secondary product almost all the time. I know people that own radio stations all over the place, right? Like, almost always when you talk to a salesperson, they are a radio salesperson first, and then, oh yeah, by the way, try to see if you can sell them some digital, right? It's not their focus because they don't get it. Because that's not what they're there for. They're there to sell radio. That's what they put all their weight into, I guess. So that's why I left traditional marketing, is because I wanted to do, this makes more sense. The hard part about leaving that was, for me, I had developed a really strong book of business. And when I left, I decided not to poach my own clients. I left them behind with the first company. And so I had to start over, which sucks.
We're kind of doing that too. We were 20 years we've been just doing contract work, like third party promotion companies come to work. Now we're stepping to the point where it's like just go out to your own customers because the ROI is.
Absolutely.
So, and it's a small net industry, like not a whole lot of people do it. I mean, it's kind of saturated, but still, everyone knows everyone. You can walk in any shop and they'll show you around. But it's like, what customers do we go after? Because there are certain customers we just, no, we're not going to touch them. But everyone, all those other folks are fair game at that.
I think you have more of a service-based product, more or less, because you're providing a service embroidery, right?
Yeah, we're mostly business. We're not doing a whole lot of individual stuff.
Sure. Yeah, same for me. Yeah. One thing to do is social posting, like actually. LinkedIn. Include LinkedIn, but also productizing your service. Package that up, put it in, because I know that you probably, what I know about the embroidery industry is correct, you're pricing based on thread count, right? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's big.
So this is 90,000 thread count. It's going to cost a little more than something that's 20,000. So productize your services a bit so that people have packages, they understand what your prices are. That's one thing you can do to strengthen when you're talking to online people that have no context on what you do, who you are. That's one way that you can engage with them, is productizing your service. Yeah. But yeah, for you, man, it might just be, a lot of embroidery companies are just old school.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, see.
One thing I've learned is because, like, I'm new on the company, so the company's second generation. Our owner, her mom passed away 3 years ago from cancer.
Mm.
She took it on. And she just wanted to take it in a different direction. Like, she's still really good at what she does. But it's just, as we started researching, like, promotion, embroidery, and screen printing, like, everyone's old school. Like, they just kind of do their thing. So we're trying to switch up a little bit and try to get a little more aggressive with marketing.
Yeah. And how can we make embroidery into a self-serve game more or less in terms of like the ordering process? Like, is there something that we can do to go, hey, input your logo here, which the answer is yes, but input your logo here, tell me about your business, tell me what it is you want to make. I want to make t-shirts with a right crest, I want to make t-shirts with a left crest, so on and so forth. And then that lead goes to somebody on your team, and then it's a one phone call. Hey, I saw you reached out about this, whatever. Or it gives an approximate price range. Most likely this is in between $120 and $300 per shirt, whatever. And then you call them, you firm up that deal, and they go, yeah, great. For people like me, it's great because I need embroidery done. But if I go to Pro Graphics in Longview, I have to like email Nicole, and then I have to go down there, and I have to pick a shirt, and blah, 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 and it sucks.
Yeah, one thing I've really coming across lately is just removing all obstacles
Yeah.
from purchasing. Like, make it super simple to streamline. And yeah, that's one of the challenges. From having work handed to you to going
Sure. Well, it sounds like you're on the right track, at least. I mean, that's good. Yeah. Do we have any questions about the products, services, about your specific business, about marketing that you've tried in the past that hasn't worked? Where can we go with that? Or business development? Let's talk about that before we're done. We have just a few more minutes left. No? Yeah. Are you? Yeah. So, yeah, it sounds like you need to do a campaign to increase your review count and just bury the negatives. I mean, that's the best tactic because, yeah, Google's not going to, most likely not going to remove them for you. The other thing that you can do is, depending on how many people you know, you can have literally all of them. And when I say literally all of them, I mean like, hey, can I use your phone real quick and pull up your own Google thing and report review, and do it on as many people's devices as you can get your hands on. So you go to a house party or you go to whatever, and there's like all these people. I don't know if people still have house parties anymore, maybe not, but you go to somewhere and there's people hanging out. You're like, hey, can I use your phone real quick? Yeah. Hey, pull me up on Google right quick. Report that review. Hey, pull me up on Google real quick. And just be a rabbit about it and just keep doing it. And that's probably the only likelihood that it'll ever go away. If that doesn't work, bury them. And don't buy them. The temptation is to go on Fiverr or Upwork and buy reviews. You could do that, and you will bury them, and you will have a great star rating. Also, you'll get flagged by Google, and you get removed. So maybe if that's your goal is to get it removed, maybe that's how you do it. But, I mean, really, probably not, right? So you don't want to put any black marks on the business. Yeah, it's a common problem. Yeah. It is. Agreed. Facebook has some analytics for sure. I would say it's a yes, but barely. Facebook and it's how much analytics you get. One thing you can do is plant the Google Analytics pixel on your website. And if you just Google how to put a Google Analytics pixel, you can find the worksheet. And having a Google Analytics profile is something that I have to do a lot for people because they're like, I want to do, great, good job, ad man. I want to buy all that stuff. And it's like, they don't make it easy. No, they don't. And so if you can figure out how to navigate that list, then a GA4 or Google Analytics profile is what you need. That'll give you way more data. The Google My Business thing provides insights like impressions, how many times your thing was seen, how many searches you showed up in, essentially how many clicks you got, and how many calls and directions requests you got. The only piece of information that's really dynamite about Google My Business is in the info window, it also shows what your top search terms you showed up in organically were. So I had a client that was running a radio campaign for a spa, and one of their top searches they were showing up in is microblading, which isn't the product they do. So they're showing up in all these things. People are calling them like, hey, do you do microblading? And they're like, no. Why do you think we do microblading? We never said that. Well, because Google sees that you're a spa, and it kind of thinks that's what you do. So they added microblading. That was the answer. It was either remove the product or add microblading. And they're like, screw it, why add microblading? That's good enough. So that was an actionable piece of data. You can kind of write, and then we ended up writing an ad campaign specifically for microblading. And then there was another one for them that was like, it was like not Botox, but a similar product, I think. And so we put that specific name of product in the ad because we know people are already looking for it. So we're doubling down on that audience. It's already motivated to buy. So yeah, it's a good question. But yeah, as far to continue, the rest of the data, foot traffic attribution, all that stuff, they're attached to the products. So you got to have the Pokemon if you want the skills, right?
So you mentioned posting every day really important on your social
Yeah.
media. A lot of time will come up with content for that.
Yeah.
What do you feel is the appropriate percentage that needs to be like, there's just a pretty picture versus content that you have to put on like, hey, what your favorite color is this or that, where you're wanting to get people to make some comments on there?
Yeah.
Does that, can you have a mix of just the,
Absolutely.
the item and if there's something I want you to interact with?
Well, it's a good question. And so the question was, I'm going to say this again so it's on camera, but the question was, what portion of your social posting content should be just here's what we do and informational and kind of fun and exploratory, and what portion should be content that you actually have to engage with and respond to, like, hey, which of these do you like better, blue or red, or right? The answer is complicated because of two things. The algorithm rewards you for keeping people on Facebook and keeping them engaged with your content. So you do whatever works the most. So my recommendation is that you take you take both tactics and you start A/B testing them, right? So we're going to do an entire week of nothing but this kind of content. We're going to do an entire week of nothing but this kind of content, and then we're going to do hybrid weeks, right, where we do half and half. We're going to do an 80-20 and see which one gets you the total most page reach. The only thing about that study you should be aware of is that as you get every week that you do it, a small portion of your increase is going to be attributed not to the ads themselves, but the activity that you've been doing. So as you're taking your numbers and you go, well, the second week was better than the first, and the third was better than the second, and the fourth was better than the third, so I guess the fourth is better. Just realize a small portion of that increase is because you've been active, and Facebook rewards you for that. All the socials do. So it's a A/B testing answer. That's how you come up with it. So, good question. Yeah.
So we've been looking a lot into doing Facebook and Instagram ads. We've recently started posting. We're getting some traction, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we have friends over in like the Yakima area, small local bakery, and people are getting ads like not locally for their local bakery, but it's like they're not even in their customer radius area. So is there, you guys often optimize those, code you can toss in there, kind of keep it more local? So
Facebook sucks in that way. It just kind of does.
and I know like that's part of like the struggle is like Facebook, anyone that looks up like embroidery, like yeah, we can ship it to Florida,
Yeah.
but they're gonna pay like $200 to ship.
Yeah, it's not your target at all. Yeah. Yeah. You can target your ads on Facebook. You can, but Facebook targeting is mostly based on two pieces of information. It's check-ins and where they've been and what they've posted about, right? So they post a review about Rat Tap. They know that they went to Kathleen. It's that, but it's also what their reported location is in their profile. So a lot of times if somebody moves from Longview to Florida, they're going to get those Longview ads on Pandora and Facebook and all those while they're gone. I still get Sunflower Bank ads on Pandora for somehow. Like, I don't know what they... Yeah, like what the heck? So it's just because the box of data that they're using is outdated. The real answer for that company is use better targeting. Use a better platform. In terms of optimizing what they have already, no, not really. We can't do anything much more outside of like what their tool has, because that's their ad delivery is their ad delivery. That's the downside of them not playing nice with everybody else, is they don't have access to all the other 400 data points.
Because I've been doing a bunch of research, and like there's a lot of tech people out there that like start to advertise, so like they can insert code into the algorithm to optimize the search engine.
You can do a Facebook pixel, which you can put on on your website for retargeting also. You can do that. But as far as putting a middleman targeting and then delivering a custom data box for Facebook to pull from, I think that's snake oil, personally. Like, it's just not real. I promise, because if it was, I'd be buying it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and honestly, like at that point, you're better off taking your audience that you're targeting, that same people you're looking for on Facebook, and target them on all of the other funnels, right? Like, make sure you have that full funnel approach. But yeah, it's interesting. I had never heard anyone ask that before. That's good.
Yeah.
Good question.
Kind of nerdy, so kind of follow what's happening with
Good.
the new like, funny money, cryptos and stuff like
Yeah, and NFTs and
A
stuff.
lot of tech pros out there that are not just ding dongs, like they're actually building real technology.
Absolutely.
And it's some of these guys, like, I don't know like how all that works because I'm just a blue collar guy my entire life. And it's like
Yeah.
that's beyond my head. So I don't know anything about that.
There's a lot of product, and it's funny, a lot of these marketers make these huge claims like, we'll double your agency in 120 days, and it's like, no, you won't. If you were a serious marketer, you would never dare make that claim because you know that marketing is based on 5 things, and you can't guarantee all 5 things because I can't guarantee that my customer, I have a mortgage lender, I can't guarantee that he's going to stick with it for the time that I told him to stick with it. I mean, if he does, then I know it's going to have a pretty trusted and well outcome. But if he doesn't, then the customer comes away with, well, I tried radio, it didn't work. I tried geofencing, it's a load of crap. It's like, no, you tried geofencing a third of the way. You didn't try it with all 5. So, yeah, it sucks, but what are you going to do, right? Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thanks for coming. Please follow me on Facebook. Please leave me a review. Weston will be over by the wall over here for you if you want to stop and he can grab a quick video testimonial from you. That'd be really helpful. I'll be speaking again for the Longview Council Chamber and the I'm already at Wakaicum, and for the Woodland Chamber in the upcoming months too. So you can see that on Facebook. Thank you.